Deep breath. Steve here. A breath of fresh air. Or a breath of sun air. Another day. And welcome to the day. So I think we'll just start off with a reading of the day according to the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar is a more ancient calendar. It's divided into 13 months based on 28 days with a day in between time. Calendar starts on the Gregorian calendar. July 26th is the first day of the Mayan calendar. Goes through the 364 days with one day without time. And if you figure that out, you can explain it to me. But in the Gregorian calendar, today is it's Thursday, May 23rd, and with the 13 moons, this is a spectral month. So in the Gregorian calendar, they would say the month of May. In the Mayan, it would be the spectral month. Spectral being the month of liberation. So it completes on Wednesday, May 29th, which is spectral day 28, because it's a 28-day month. And Thursdays, it appears, always relate to the crown chakra. And today is the full moon. And it's a blue resonant eagle day, guided by accomplishment. The blue eagle is one of the 20 kin. So you can find out who your kin are by going to 13moon.com, and it'll say up in the right-hand corner, Dakota birth date, and you tap on that, and it'll have you put in your month, your day, and year of your birth, and it'll tell you who your kin are. One of 20 kin. And if you multiply the lunar tones, the 13 lunar tones, by the 20 kin, I think it comes up to 260. And so there's a whole other cycle, so I'm sorry if I'm confusing you, but there's 260 kin, so you will be one of those 260 kin. So I'm a red cosmic dragon. And I think next week, the last day of this spectral month, and the second to last day of the month of May, is a red cosmic dragon day. So every so often, like once every 20 days is like a day, like a blue eagle day. So every 20 days is a blue eagle day. Every 20 days there's a red dragon day, but it takes a lot longer to get your lunar tone and your kin tone on the same day. So next Friday should be good for some reason. And you may as well think it's going to be good, and you may as well make up the reason for it. Because if we're making it all up, can we possibly make up something better than we've made up so far? That's a question to pose to yourself. I'll pose it to you, and then you can pose it to yourself, and then you can take a pose and take a picture, look your best, do all that stuff because that may be important. We just don't know. Okay, so it's a Blue Resonant Eagle Day, so I'm just going to pop right over to the resonant tone, which is tone 7, which is in the 1 to 13 tones. It's right smack dab in the middle. And tone 7, well, I hope you got some of this, because the speaker was a ways away. We'll see if we can keep it from rattling against anything. Okay. There are 3 words, kind of key words associated with each lunar tone. And the 3 words for tone 7, the resonant tone, are channel, inspire, and attunement. And the words that are written about it are that humans are resonant beings. Whatever energies we are exposed to, we have the ability to resonate with or vibrate at like frequency. And if you want to know a little bit more about that, you look up cymatics, cymatics, which shows you how matter is affected by vibration and how specific vibrations create specific forms. So we're vibrating at a certain frequency, and that's creating the form that we're in. And if the frequency is disturbed and it vibrates at a different frequency, it can disturb our matter in different ways. So we're careful with what vibrations we connect with, what vibrations we resonate with. We say, I don't really get that vibe, or I don't like that vibe, or that's not a good vibe for me. This person, when I'm with them, I feel really good. So we're all affected by the vibration of the world. And so we've all, I was thinking of the word infected. We've been infected by the vibration, which I think if you look over the past 4 years, that might be a good word, whether we're affected or effected or infected. But there's some vectors out there. And we run across them once in a while. So anyway, notice, for example, how our moods can be influenced by the channel on the radio, if you listen to the radio. And the emotional, physiological, or mental states which are evoked by the music's vibration. By accessing keen perception of energies and vibrations, we can be more selective of what we bring into our field of play. This discernment directs us to find our own state of right alignment with any situation, as well as surround ourselves with what inspires us. Our mystic power is the strength of our personal attunement. So that's spectral tone 7. Okay, so it's a blue resonant eagle day. So blue eagle, the words are creates, vision, and mind. So another quote by Hazrat Inayat Khan is, the journey towards perfection means rising above limitations, rising so high that not the horizon of one country or one continent only is seen, but that of the whole world. The higher we rise, the wider becomes the horizon of our view. And I think in yesterday's healing video that I made, I was talking about taking this larger perspective, moving out 3 feet, 6 feet, 12 feet, 24 feet, 48 feet, getting far enough away from the energetics that we might be working with that we can hold compassion and curiosity and assist ourselves from a higher perspective, assist ourselves to release these old energies that are no longer serving us. So here's Blue Eagle telling us the same thing. Like, move out. Get a higher perspective on what you're working with. Blue Eagle represents the higher collective mind. And we might refer to that higher collective mind as the oneness. Or we could refer to it as our higher self. And I don't know if we want to refer to this as our lower self. It just depends what that means to you. But we can, and I'd say, just state this out loud, I connect to my deep self. Notice how that impacts you. I connect to my higher self. And notice just what you notice when you say those words out loud. So Blue Eagle represents our higher collective mind, our visionary creativity, and our planetary consciousness. It's often shown with a globe in its eye. Eagle holds an expansive scope, a grand planetary perspective. Seeing with a broad and objective view, we travel beyond our limited or narrow perceptions of ourselves. So we come out of, I'm only this, I'm only that, I can only do this, I can't do this, I will do this narrow, confined perspective of ourselves. And when we come out of that, we find maybe that we can breathe a little easier. Maybe we've felt like caged, so we release our cage. All of these things that are going on in our body, are going on in our minds. The construct of reality, if we create our own reality, what do we create our reality with? Do we create our reality with our minds? And are our minds programmed with information that is limiting? And if it is, what is information that is expanding? If we want to have an expanded consciousness, if we want to connect more with the higher mind, the higher state of consciousness, do we need to leave this limited state of consciousness and allow our consciousness to go out and expand with the higher mind? I think these are good questions. Okay. Elevating our consciousness to meet with the planet mind, we can discover what our unique personal contributions are to assist the positive transformation of our shared reality. All who choose to attune to the planetary mind help inspire our collective consciousness to honor and serve the evolution, our living planet, and global society. Blue Eagle directs, voyage in the vast creative landscape of your soul. Discover unlimited clear-seeing, fertile imagination, and groundbreaking ideas. Don't feel any pressure about that. These are just things that you might do. Have groundbreaking ideas. You may change the world from some perspective you get that helps shift consciousness and helps bring something new to the world that's very useful in the collective body of humanity. It's possible. All it takes is a bit of expansion of our perception of self and some other things. Voyage in the vast creative landscape of your soul. Discover unlimited clear-seeing, fertile imagination, and groundbreaking ideas. Vision is a gift. Portray and reveal so others may also see. Bring your perspective from the highest, most all-encompassing viewpoint possible. Access the visionary within, seeing and believing in that which is not yet manifest. Give flight to your sacred vision. So I'm just going to share with you my sacred vision, my perception of reality, where we are and where we're going. I was contacted by a group of beings who spoke through a medium. So I would have these gatherings back starting in '94, early first Wednesday of January, and I'd bring this intuitive who would speak words to you from your spirit guides. So she was like a radio station of the higher realms. Anyway, in 1996, I would gather 20 people together. They'd all pay $5, and so the medical and the intuitive would get $100, but she'd make everybody their own individual tape. And so in '96, in first Wednesday of January, her message to me was, your spirit guides want us to have direct communication with you. And I thought, that's not going to happen, because I like intuitive people. I like people who say, I'm speaking for your spirit guides, but I just didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be that person that people say, yeah, he's pretty sane, relatively sane. He's got some funny ideas, but for the most part, he's very helpful in what he does. That's the reality I want people to have in me. I don't want people to have the reality that they may have now, that he listens to voices in his head and does what they say, which is actually probably the truth. I do listen to those voices in my head, and I do mostly what they say, and sometimes I put it off for quite some time before I do it, because it just seems intimidating. So I just think that's too much. Anyway, I began listening to these voices in my head, and at first I wrote down what they said. The first information they gave me filled 4 or 5 pages. I still have those pages. And they told me that I'd agreed to do something and that I wasn't ready, and I needed to do some work for the next year to prepare myself on a spiritual, physical, mental, emotional level to be able to do the thing I had agreed to do before even coming onto the planet. So that thing I agreed to do was, I was one of 4. They referred to us after the fact. They never mentioned this before, but they said we were 4 pillars of light that were being used to hold a space. We were actually being trained to be spiritual midwives, so that this being, Abrahamanad, could come in on the Hale-Bopp comet and incarnate as the soul of the earth for the next 13,000 years. So anyway, I did the work for the year to get ready for this event. I was up on a hilltop where I was directed to go, and this being came through this vortex that was on the hilltop. And the being went through, and I was kind of starstruck, because here's big being, and I'm little being. That was my perception. It still is. So big being came through, and I felt this energy go into the earth, and I leaned over and I said, my name's Steve McLean. I live in Ann Arbor. And I felt the being stop, turn around, and said, I'm perfectly aware of who you are. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I'm just this groupie here, and this rock star, so to speak, is aware of who I am. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. Anyway, the being said to me, so I appreciate what you've done to help me come in. And if there's anything you need, you just let me know. And I just want to let you know I'm going to be quite busy for the next 28 years, because I'm going to assist to completely shift the planet energetically. And there's going to be 7 years of physical change, 7 years of mental change, 7 years of emotional change, and 7 years of spiritual change. And I did the math later, and it calculated it out to be March 23rd, 2025. So I've been working on this stuff for 27 years, 28 if you count the year of prep that I did to get to where I needed to be. So that's the story. So I feel like I have a direct link to this information of some of what's going on, and I talk about it in many of my videos. There's an introduction to Abrahamadan, and I tell the same story, hopefully the same story that I just told. Hopefully when you're telling a story of your experience, it doesn't vary that much. Because our experience ought not to vary that much, our memory, but it does. I mean, you said, oh, I didn't say that. Okay, so that's it. I don't know how long we went, but that seems like a good start to the day, and may you have a lovely blue resonant eagle day. All right, now let's go.